Welcome to Blush Rose Tarot. This is a space where tarot and astrology meet, where the cards reflect the movement of the sky and the sky gives deeper context to the cards. Each reading here begins with the living sky and allows tarot to translate that energy. You don't need to know tarot or astrology to be here. These reflections are meant to be felt as much as they are understood. If something resonates, you are welcome to sit with it, and if it doesn't, you can let it pass. Today, we're reflecting on the energy of Sun square Uranus. The Sun represents identity, vitality, and the way we experience our sense of self. Uranus represents disruption, awakening, and the urge for freedom. When these two meet in a square, the energy is pressurized. This is not a gentle adjustment, it is a friction point. At 27 degrees, this energy isn't asking us to begin again, it's asking us to recognize what wisdom has already been earned and what can no longer be ignored. Sun square Uranus at this degree often feels like a crack in the structure of identity, a moment where the old way can no longer hold. To explore this atmosphere, I've drawn 5 tarot cards to reflect how this energy may be experienced symbolically. The first card is the Fool. The Fool is ruled by Uranus, and this archetype is radical freedom. Here, the self asks to step beyond anything that's familiar, even if the ground feels uncertain. In a Sun-Uranus square, the Fool reflects impulse to break away before fully knowing what comes next. This card speaks to a moment when identity wants movement more so than it wants security, when staying feels riskier than taking a leap. From the leap, the wheel begins to turn. The second card is the Wheel of Fortune. This represents sudden shifts in direction, events that feel fated, timed, or out of our control. And in the context of Sun square Uranus, the wheel highlights how quickly circumstances can change once pressure reaches its breaking point. At 27 degrees, this can feel like a turning you didn't plan, but one that reveals where growth was already overdue. This card reminds us that disruption often carries momentum even when it arrives without warning. And when the wheel turns, something must end. The third card is Death. Death represents necessary endings, the shedding of an identity, role, or attachment that can no longer evolve. Under the Sun-Uranus square, this card does not suggest loss for its own sake, but transformation driven by truth. At a late degree, this ending often feels final, not because it's sudden, but because it has already been lived past its expiration. This card asks, what version of self is being outgrown? As transformation accelerates, energy moves quickly. The fourth card is the Eight of Wands. This represents speed, information, and rapid movement. In this transit, the Eight of Wands reflects how quickly insight, conversations, or events can unfold. There is little time to prepare here. Things arrive all at once. This card mirrors the electric pace of Uranus, ideas sparking faster than the nervous system can fully integrate. And finally, the tension reveals its cost. The final card is the Five of Swords. This card speaks to conflict, disruption, and really the aftermath of all of that sudden change. In this context, it reflects the internal or external friction that can arise when freedom is claimed abruptly. Not every breakthrough feels clean, and not every ending is mutually understood. The Five of Swords reminds us that while liberation is necessary, integration takes time. Together, these cards describe Sun square Uranus at a moment of identity rupture and awakening. At 27 degrees, the tension is not emerging, it is peaking. The self is ready to move, even if the path forward is undefined. This is a time when freedom insists on expression, when outdated roles fracture, and when the truth of who you are can no longer be postponed. The invitation is not to control the shift, but to be met with awareness. Sun square Uranus reminds us that change does not always ask politely. Sometimes it arrives as disruption because the soul has already decided to evolve. As this energy moves through the sky, notice where restlessness signals truth and where resistance reveals what has already ended. Reflection doesn't ask for certainty. It asks for honesty. Thank you so much for spending time with me here at Blush Rose Tarot. If you'd like to continue exploring tarot through the lens of the living sky, you're welcome to subscribe. New reflections are shared as the sky changes. Until next time, take what resonates and let the rest pass.